So what would you do when, knock knock, the cops are at your door for the umpteenth time thanks to your caring neighbor? It's certainly the last thing you want to deal with when you've been laid off from your job.
So here's a quick update on why I haven't been updating. I got laid off at the end of July. Before everybody goes, oh, that sucks. It's fine. Job's coming to an end. Layoffs happen. I'll get another job call. I'm not worried about that. In the meantime of that, my first week off, I'm trying to sit here and enjoy myself. Sheriff shows up and serves me and my old lady both with TPOs. Bye, I love you. So, yeah, that happened. I can't really get into that. I was threatened with arrest if I, whatever. So, not gonna get into that right now. Waiting on a court date still. So in the meantime, that's pretty much why I've been updating. In the meantime of being laid off, I've just been trying to take care of shit around the house. Been busy. So this is what it is, and everything happens for a reason. After court, once court day gets set and after court happens, I'll give you guys another update and we'll see how that goes. I'll let you guys know. Thanks for the support. I appreciate it. Hope everybody has a good day. Bye.
It all starts when his neighbor, let's call her Karen Supreme, finds Derek Ferris' TikTok account. And then she marches over accusing him of living like white trash. Yep, really. Karen Supreme is on a mission to maintain order, and it seems his TikTok fame is her latest grievance.
So that's actually my neighbor. That's actually the neighbor. Me and my old lady went to the rib off earlier tonight. Got home a little bit ago. Go through my comments and checking my stuff. I see that. That's great. So apparently, I'm a liar. I'm this, I'm that. I'm slandering her. I never once mentioned her name. But to sit there and say that I'm throwing trash and garbage into your yard, which technically is my yard because I pay taxes on it. It's my property. And yes, those those property lines are correct. There's stakes out here. I've already marked them. I've already walked them. I've measured them. The property lines are right. The garage goes to my property. Her driveway is on my property. So, I mean, like I said, everybody knows I've got 8 kids here, which 2 of my kids are 9. 1 of them is 8. I got my grandson who's 4. So yeah, if kids are outside eating food, having ice cream, popsicles, and they don't throw their stuff away, yeah, shit's gonna blow around. I get it. But as far as throwing garbage in your yard, we actually literally have a dumpster on our property because the one little garbage can that the county gave us wasn't enough. Like, we literally have a dumpster on our property for our house, a dumpster, which gets picked up every 2 weeks. And this was our original tiny little garbage can. And, again, given that we just moved in here 2 months ago, 3 months ago now, we still had a bunch of stuff to throw away, a bunch of boxes to deal with. So we're still kind of getting settled in. We're still getting rid of stuff. And that one little garbage can just wasn't enough for our house. And on top of it, I've been burning the boxes. We throw away what we need to throw away. Nobody's throwing garbage anywhere where it doesn't belong. You guys have seen my videos of me on the river. Why would I pull just a simple pop bottle out of the river if I'm gonna throw garbage into somebody else's yard? I'm not that disrespectful. I was raised better than that, first of all. You guys seen the video where I was very respectful when she cornered me in my driveway with my kid, called me white trash, but I'm the asshole. Cool. I'll remember that. I'm the asshole. Sounds good to me.
It escalates because she constantly calls the police on him, claiming he's encroaching on her side of the property and citing a mess that apparently offends her landscape.
Yeah, that right there, I really don't or didn't care about the garage. When I bought the property, I had a good idea that the garage was across my property line, but I wasn't exactly sure because these aerials
aren't exact, so I wasn't going to go off of it. I was going to do my due diligence, call a survey company, have them come out here, and after the survey was done, I had planned on addressing it. The fact that pissed me off is that she went behind my back instead of being a neighbor, knocking on my door, whatever. She called the county for zoning because she has a problem with the guy that rents my building. The guy was renting my building before I moved in here. I was aware that he was renting the building. I had a conversation with him about renting the building, and he didn't want to move. He wants to stay for a couple more years until he can retire. He was actually renting that from her dad. So whatever problem she has with him is beyond me. She hasn't told me what the problem is with him. He doesn't know what the problem is she has with him. So, and as far as my zoning on my property goes, it's really none of her concern what my property is zoned as. That's what started this. I didn't start this. I would have went over there next door and been like, hey, your guys' garage is across the line. You know, how do we resolve this? Her husband's actually a very nice man, and I like my space. I don't want to have to tear down the man's garage, but I'm trying to be as polite as I can. You guys seen the video? I know the sound was shitty the other day, but to come flag me down while I'm riding around having fun with my kids on my property, to tell me that I don't own what I think I own, and I only own the house and this, that, and the other, I'm not going to argue. Simple as it is. I'm going to go about this the right way, the legal way. It's going to take a little bit of time, and if anybody wants, I'm going to keep updating. I'm going to keep posting updates as soon as I figure something out. Said the county commissioner, the county zoning commissioner told me give him a few weeks. He's going to do some digging and try to see what's going on with the property lines and what's going to happen with the zoning. And I'm just waiting. So it is what it is.
This guy's tenant, who runs a fencing company, keeps some supplies on site, and Karen's reaction involves more unwarranted complaints. So our guy decides enough's enough. He brings in the zoning commissioner to settle things once and for all, complete with property lines, measurements, and stakes in the ground.
So I wasn't going to do it, but I'm doing it now. I bought this house about 2 months ago. Got a bunch more, a little bit out front. But I bought it because I got the land, got the outbuildings, plenty of room for the kids to ride go-karts and all that. You know, got 8 kids running around here, need some room. And I get a call from the old lady yesterday that these guys next door decided to call zoning on me because I let a guy rent the building out back for storage for his fence company. Cool with me, I don't care. But zoning says that I need to get a commercial property. Little do they know, their garage right there and that fence right there is on my property. And little does the lady that called the zoning know that she is already pissed off the zoning guy. So I'll put updates up if anybody's interested.
And for his grand finale, he makes a video inviting any future neighbors to chill out, crack a cold one, and avoid calling the cops every time they see him.
So this video is for any of my potential new neighbors, since the other people that started against me moved out. Come hang out, drink a beer, let's start a fire. Don't call the fucking cops and the EPA on me. Thank you.
And the takeaway from this is good fence might make good neighbors, but sometimes a little patience and a lot fewer calls to the authorities might do the trick just as well. And speaking of busybodies, how about this Karen who might very well be the substitute definition of trash? Neighbors. Sometimes they're the people you trust to water your plants when you're on vacation, and other times they're, well, this.
What's going on? Oh, okay. I'm just going to my apartment. I'm throwing away trash.
Let me get your face. Thank you.
Okay, I'm just recording you because I don't know what you're doing all this for.
I'm not doing anything. What is a little girl gonna do to you?
Nothing. I just don't know what's with you.
So imagine you're just minding your business, taking out the trash late at night, and suddenly you're thrust into an epic showdown of he said, she said, complete with random recording sessions and a whole lot of confusion. The tale begins innocently enough. Our protagonist, casually taking out the garbage, encounters his very suspicious neighbor who appears out of nowhere, camera in hand, demanding to know what he's doing. Clearly, this is a neighbor where taking out the trash is a suspicious activity that requires immediate documentation, as if it's the setup to some low-budget crime drama.
Yes, you are.
I'm not even.
Loner. This guy's being a weirdo.
She's following me around to the trash can,
No, I haven't. I've been walking
recording.
around.
I'll back in,
And of course, I
minding my own business.
Weirdo.
As the video unfolds, the paranoia is turned up to 11. The neighbor, in full Karen mode, is hell-bent on monitoring our guy's every mood. She's recording him while demanding to know why he's a weirdo. He simply responds with the classic defense, "I'm throwing out trash." But Karen is not convinced. Who knew? This is a conspiracy. And she's determined to catch him in the act of, doing absolutely nothing?
What? You're gonna.
No.
Hey,
Hey! Hey!
what is going on?
She just
What is she doing?
She doesn't like you. She feels very harassed by
What
you.
is she doing?
I feel very harassed by you.
Stop, for real. Come here.
Close the door, badass.
Then escalate when, in true neighborly fashion, they start recording each other. At this point, it's basically a standoff with both sides armed with smartphones, trying to out-record one another like it's a TikTok war complete with some violence.
So they don't take charges serious if you, like, can't even prove.
She ran up on me on video and
Yeah, dude.
hit me in the freaking head,
She hit you in the head.
in the neck. So I'm just gonna hang out here and wait for that, dude. That is absolutely highly unacceptable.
Yeah, so is throwing a trash can, dude.
I didn't do that.
The boyfriend enters the scene, attempting to negotiate peace. This guy's energy is more, let's avoid a lawsuit, than let's fix this, but he tries. His explanation? Karen was scared, or rather, she didn't like you very much. Apparently, taking out the trash at midnight turns you into a weirdo. The boyfriend rambles on and is at first unapologetic. Perhaps he's saving face. Apparently, no one in his place would want to deal with a girlfriend like his.
Throwing a trash can at midnight, remember that?
Wasn't me, bro.
It wasn't you, even though you were slamming on your ceiling and screaming at the top of your lungs profanities.
And it's almost laughable as he tries to justify their over-the-top reactions with the casual, we've dealt with actual weirdos before. So naturally, the guy minding his business with a trash bag falls under suspicion. But hey, at least there's a half-hearted apology buried in there somewhere, like a Band-Aid on a gaping wound of misunderstanding.
They're just over there recording me. It's not the first time she's been recording me. They think that I've been banging on the walls and throwing their stairwell.
Moreover, the cops get involved with a little feud, but our guy called it off at the last minute, thanks to the boyfriend who has to put up with all that craziness. And did someone mention lawsuit?
Thanks. I'm really sorry. We're heading out.
All right, man. Good luck to you. Sorry it had to go like this.
Me too, honestly. I mean, I think like early on when I told you to stop coming up the stairs, it was like we were scared or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, and because we don't know who you are. I mean, you're just a stranger. I'm sure you're a really nice guy. Like when it comes down to it.
By the end, the boyfriend seems genuinely remorseful in that I really don't want this to go viral kind of way. They exchange a few words about respect and how tough it is to live with annoying neighbors. Note how the irony is almost too much. The video ends with a weirdly philosophical note about life's growing experiences, as if this whole bizarre trash can turned drama was some kind of moral lesson. Ultimately, the video is a masterpiece of suburban theatrics. What starts as a mundane chore spirals into a weird mini-drama, complete with a somewhat happy ending.
And I know how things get. Like I've had problems too where I felt so disrespected. I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna disrespect you back because you deserve it, you know. And like they never wanted to make amends, they never apologized or anything like that.
Yeah, man. That's how I felt.
I understand that.
You know, I tried to come up there and talk to you like a man, and you shooed me away. So
Yeah, and frankly, that part of that was just like we've dealt with some people who are actually like full-on weirdos before, and it's one reason probably she was calling you a weirdo. She feels bad about that.
good luck to you, man. I hope that you both
She'll grow.
find peace. You know.
It's ultimately just a growing experience. Everything in life is.
Yes.
It just would make me. Just wanted to come down and like.
I appreciate
talk a
that.
little bit about it because I just want to move on in life.
Appreciate that, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you being cool.
Good luck to y'all, man.
Thanks.
And the next time you take out your trash, remember, always be on the lookout for the neighborhood Karen. She might just be waiting to catch you in the act of existing. And here's a tip for free. If you're just trying to live your life, don't take the trash out at midnight. Apparently, that suggests you must be up to something. Here's another classic case. Have you ever moved to a new place and thought, this is gonna be great, only to discover that your new neighbor is a real-life caricature of a sitcom villain? Welcome to the world of Marcus, whose neighborhood is home to the one and only crazy neighbor Karen.
Mother effing Karen walks down here, attacks me and old Skipper, the new employee, and she's like, I see you got a new yard and a new employee, and I had my headphones in, and by the time I took them out, he heard her. I didn't really hear her, but...
In a recent YouTube escapade, Marcus documented the latest chapter in their ongoing saga, a confrontation that left his new employee wondering if he had actually walked onto the set of a bizarre reality show. So during a random sunny afternoon, Marcus's new employee was hard at work sprucing up the backyard. Suddenly, the tranquility of their neighborhood was shattered by a piercing voice.
Skipper, the new employee, and she's like, I see you got a new yard and a new employee, and I had my headphones in, and by the time I took them out, he heard her. I didn't really hear her, but she like raised her voice, threw her hands up in the air, ninjas, and she was like, this is what he told me. He told me he heard her say, get the mother effing out of my neighborhood, or some BS. She has lost her freaking mind.
So enter Karen, the resident neighborhood drama queen, storming out of her house like a tornado in yoga pants. With the grace of a charging bull and the subtlety of a freight train, she confronted them while her face was flushed with indignation. What was her problem, really, you ask? She began her tirade by bellowing, "Who do you think you are?" as she channeled her inner drama queen while simultaneously waving her arms around as if she was trying to flag down a plane. This isn't a junkyard. Get out of my effing neighborhood.
All I heard right before my music started to play, and I was getting ready to take them out, but at that point, by the time I took out the headphones, she basically flipped off, hands in the air, and said something and walked off. But all I heard was, I see you got a new yard and a new employee, and then what did you hear her?
That's what I heard too. And then she said, get the effing out of my neighborhood.
The sheer audacity. It's almost impressive how quickly she escalated from zero to Karen in a matter of seconds. If anyone thought this was a one-off encounter, they'd be mistaken. Marcus has had quite a history with this particular Karen that reads like a script for a tragicomedy.
But I wanted to share this with you because, wow. I just to let you know, I've had some history with her. Okay, but this is his first time in this neighborhood. First week, obviously, as you know, but first time in this neighborhood, and we got to go mow that house next to hers with the white car. But I have no idea what that was about. And like I said, my music started playing. He said he heard her say that, and by the time I took my headphones out, she was already storming away from me and with her hands up in the air. And I mean, I saw you over there, and you were like a deer, deer and headlights. Your eyes were like, what? And I walked up.
She had a cell phone in her hand.
She had a cell phone in her hand?
Phone in her hand, one leaned up against the truck. I was trying to fly. I was like, hey.
Yeah, I don't.
That's you.
I don't know. She stormed off, and at that point, I walked over to you, and you were like, "What was all that about?" I'm like, "I have no idea, honestly." And that's when you told me what you heard.
That's what I heard her saying was something about a new employee, a new account, new employee, and get the effing out of here. My neighborhood.
Her neighborhood. You know them Karens, man. Them Karens are nuts, man. I mean, Karens are crazy.
You know, that's what she said.
Yeah, did she? Well, that is what she said. I don't know, man. That is. So anyway, what a great way to introduce you to the new neighborhood. Because we just finished with this yard, and it was a doozy, wasn't it? That backyard was no joke. The front yard, it was fine, but the backyard hasn't been mowed in a month. And I actually have a video I started right before we started this yard, before I got out and started mowing. So I'll be sharing the same thing, maybe a little bit more in detail when I dropped that, but I figured this was worth me recording. Let me pull on down there, because that's where we got to go next, and see if she comes out.
He's witnessed her unleash her wrath over other unnamed minor infractions, and here they were, the new employees' initiation into the charmingly chaotic neighborhood marked by Karen's not-so-friendly outburst. At this point, Marcus could very well have sighed and signaled to his new work buddy, "Welcome to the team." But wait, you must realize that Karen's antics are just the tip of the iceberg.
Or if she says anything, at least. I don't know. This whole neighborhood is weird. I was mowing here a few weeks ago, and some kid or punk, I don't know, out of this house right here, was shining a laser beam in my eyes.
The neighborhood is an eclectic mix of characters that could easily star in a quirky indie film. Just the other day, Marcus had a run-in with a local kid who thought it'd be hilarious to shine a laser in his eyes. He could only assume the kid was training for the neighborhood's Olympics of odd behavior.
You can go ahead, if you want to start on the back, because I don't know if this is going to turn into a... Probably grab a weed eater on this one, honestly. And then if I'm not joining you by then, you can grab a mower, and if you do, it's on 4. But I want to see what this is about.
With each bizarre incident, Marcus couldn't help but ponder what goes on in the minds of his fellow residents. Were they secretly auditioning for a reality show on how to annoy the heck out of the new neighbor? Or was there some bizarre initiation ritual he'd missed out on? Whatever it was, it definitely kept things interesting.
I think I'm going to confront her, because I don't want her to think that that was okay.
As the dust settled and Karen stormed off, he felt a spark of rebellious energy. Should he let her think her outbursts were acceptable? Absolutely not. Whatever the case, she'd surely be back going by their history. And he was always up for a showdown worthy of a blockbuster film. He was always ready to confront her and set the record straight.
Huh? Yeah, I'm going to confront it because... No, listen, man. I don't want her to think that that was okay. That's not okay. And I'm going to have my camera on for... Make sure... Huh? White car, and they got 2 driveways. That's the one we're mowing, yeah.
After all, someone had to mind her that this wasn't make-believe TV, and her behavior was far from normal. So Marcus and his gardener could only keep at their yard work. Marcus himself couldn't help but wonder, in this neighborhood, one never knows what's going to happen next. Whether it's a laser-wielding kid or a Karen on a rampage, it seemed the drama was never ending. And up next, how about sacred spaces? No? It's not what you're thinking, bless your soul.
Not a house.
He operates on the edge of the law.
When it's a boat the size of a house.
It's a monstrosity, basically.
Lots of this woman's neighbours have cats, but only one's got a 3-story catamaran.
It's had more of an impact than the earthquake.
So, can you answer that question too? When is a house not a house? Well, apparently when it's a 3-story boat that sits immovably in your neighbor's backyard. Welcome to Christchurch, New Zealand, where a suburban street is home to a feud of almost biblical proportions, thanks to one man's towering houseboat creation that's more Noah's Ark than yacht.
Over 11 years, we've had disruptions from next door. Dreadful industrial building and smells and noises, and you just can't enjoy relaxing.
Wahine is the only one currently enjoying any relaxation on this couch.
Meet Susan and Anne-Marie, 2 friends who have had their lives turned upside down for 11 years by the construction of this gigantic floating fortress. Well, floating in theory, because this boat has never seen the sea and, according to Anne-Marie, would probably capsize faster than a soggy cardboard box.
I have the impression that if you put that in the water, it would be top heavy, turn, turtle and sink. Is it a boat or is it a house? Or a boathouse? Or a houseboat? Or a house?
Whatever it is, it's a massive eyesore according to Anne-Marie and Susan. And that's a massive problem because they can't see it making its maiden voyage anytime soon.
I can't see that it would be seaworthy. I fail to see it being a boat. And I also wonder how they could remove that boat from the backyard.
This labour of love has taken years to construct, and it's been all hands on deck.
But for now, it just sits there, dominating the neighborhood, blocking the sun, and generally being a monument to audacious backyard engineering. But it's not just the boat. Oh no. The real entertainment comes from the soundtrack of chaos that has accompanied this saga.
Just over the garden fence, there were all these people, massive noise, smells of fiberglassing and glues and other things. And we were intimidated often by youths looking over the fence at us, so that I'd often not go in the spa pool, for example, because they'd shriek out horrible.
Picture endless industrial sounds, sawing, hammering, and the unforgettable smells of fiberglass and glue. According to Susan, these nuisances are as bad as any natural disaster. In fact, she claims it has had more of an impact on her life than the recent earthquakes. Sorry for the reference, we're just calling it as it is.
Well, the quality of the last 11 years has been marred by the neighbour next door ruining a peaceful and beautiful environment for me. It's had more of an impact than the earthquakes, for me.
As if the construction noise wasn't enough, the boat owner had a collection of loud barking dogs and a shrieking parrot, a real-life pirate, but with way less charm.
As well as the noise from the building, he had 2 Alsatians, and they were barking a lot. And they were disturbing because if you'd turn a light on at night, they'd start barking. As soon as you opened the back door and went on the deck, they'd be barking. He also had a parrot which screeched.
It started at 6:30 every morning.
Susan's attempts at neighborly communication, complete with polite letters slipped through iron gates, have been met with a resounding silence. Except for the time the guy's mother called her a dirty, horrible, low-grade person. Ouch. Another neighbor named Dave just lives behind the vessel and has to deal with it every time he takes out the rubbish.
Well, I've been living here for 14 years now, since January 99. And it's been fine. And then all of a sudden, this arc has sort of reared its ugly head.
He's even dubbed it an arc because the only way this thing is going to get out of the backyard is with divine intervention. Or a flood. Dave's new hobby? Watching for animals marching 2 by 2 down the road. When they do, he says he'll know it's time to leave.
The council said that he's breaching no regulations because it is not a dwelling, it's a temporary structure. I think the council are wrong. It's all wrong.
The big question everyone's asking, how is this even legal? Well, the Christchurch City Council insists that it's a temporary structure. That's right, it's technically not a house, even though it's been there for over a decade. It looks more like a cruise ship than a hobbyist project. Council laws allow backyard boat building as long as it's not commercial.
He is, in theory, operating within the law because he is building a boat for his own purposes. That permits him to build an ocean-going liner in the backyard.
But with this colossal structure looming over them, Susan and Anne-Marie can't help but think this is more of a shipyard than a personal project. But the bottom line remains that Susan and Anne-Marie's dreams of peace and quiet have been shattered by a DIY boater who, like a real-life Captain Ahab, is obsessed with his creation.
This is a commercial boatyard. He states it as a commercial boatyard on his website. That is a very large backyard, which you could very easily build at least one large single-storey house on. Is almost entirely occupied by sheds of various levels of decrepitude, and now dominated by a 3-storey boat, 100 feet long. The sheer scale of the operation is well and truly beyond building a pleasure boat in the backyard. I would be terrified if something caught fire around here, because I think there is an enormous fire hazard sitting in this community, and it's right next door.
He won't be featured in a home renovation show anytime soon, but if you're in the mood for suburban warfare on the high, or well, not so high, seas, look no further than this absurd tale of the backyard ark that will never sail.